Hello folks and welcome back to the program. Welcome back to another episode of Manza Media and Mickey. Today I want to talk about my favorite artists in the Walt Disney Company. The Nine Old Men. The Nine Old Men were an inspiration to not only me but so many illustrators and artists who are a fan of early Disney work. Before we get into it, if you don't mind just liking the video, subscribing to the channel, sharing the video with a friend, and checking out, if you don't mind, Manza Illustrations. That is my personal company with my wife. We work on getting you art of any kind, logo designs, gifts for family and friends, birthday presents, holiday presents, you name it, commission pieces, an Etsy shop for you to check out as well. Supporting Manza Illustrations also gives these puppies some food. Check out Manza Illustrations today. The link is in the description down below. With that out of the way, let's begin this episode. Now, the Nine Old Men were some of Walt's favorite designers, artists, and virtually engineers in their craft. They were fantastic at what they did. They were amazing illustrators, designers, artists, you name it. They did it. Walt would walk around and view every one of them doing their little tasks and animating some of the features. Within the period of the 40s, 50s, and 60s, and even 70s, Nine Old Men were a pivotal part to the Walt Disney Company. You needed them if you were going to have a feature starring some of your favorite, now acclaimed animated characters. And today we're looking at Ken Anderson, one of the Nine Old Men, and many other equally talented jack-of-all-trades to the company that were pivotal in those successful 50s and 60s animated films. The Aristocats, The Jungle Book, and all of the stuff in the parks, the early designs for Peter Pan's Flight, designed by Ken Anderson. We'll get into it. Now, the Nine Old Men were not specifically old, although they were middle-aged gentlemen who worked under the Disney Company, who were interested in art. Their animation division at the time was the one to be working for. If you were an illustrator in Southern California, that was the place you needed to work. Cal Arts would become a sort of pass-through for some of the influential artists that we know of. Tim Burton came from Cal Arts. Innovators like John Lasseter as well came from there. But today we are talking about 1934, Ken Anderson. Driving along the boulevard when he happened to drive by the Walt Disney Company. And just because he got a stray hair, he went in and asked for a position. This man was fresh out of studying at the University of Washington in 1934 and went in for a job. By all means, he got it. And the next thing you know, in 1934, he was working on the Silly Symphonies with Walt. Imagine what that might have been like for Ken Anderson. His attention to detail, technical precision, and his work ethic were what got him through those doors. I mean, he was fantastic. And imagine working on the Silly Symphonies, how amazing that would have been of an opportunity for him to start out. With help from other artists and illustrators within the company, he was the art director for Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs he worked on. And how many people could live to tell the tale of working on Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs? It's pretty incredible stuff. His work is forever inspiring. Ken was also art director for Pinocchio and Fantasia. Jeez, though, he is the building block, the cornerstone in the foundation of why you love those early Disney movies. All of the sketchy line work, the attention to the details, the doodles in the background that seem to make all the more difference in adding a landscape to some of this work. And he knows one of the tricks as an illustrator: the more clutter in the background, the better for the eye. The more entrancing to rewatchability factor is huge in that way. You want to watch it again just to look at the surroundings that the characters are animated in. That's all Ken. I'd say Ken's biggest claim to fame was that 101 Dalmatians film. Overall, he worked 44 years in the Disney Company and received many awards for all of the work he had done. Recognition has to be paid, and we have to remember our past when we look at artwork that inspires forever for generations. I would kill to have entered the Disney ARL. It's not only digital but tactile. The vaults that they have there, all the artwork to look at and be inspired by. It's incredible. Ken truly believed in improving on anything. You can plus anything and make it better than it ever was before. Some of the concept artwork for Peter Pan's Flight, early Disneyland, the castle, the riverboat, Peter Pan's Flight were the early concepts designed by Ken, as he had a background in architecture as well. This man was a jack of all trades, and that kind of talent is what the Disney Company needed. Walt saw that and said, I'm smart enough to hire someone else to work for me. that knows how to do this stuff, and he knew. Again, these key players were not only cornerstones in what you love about films like 101 Dalmatians, Pinocchio, but they were working together as a team and always looking to achieve that next level of success. And look at the company now. I'll make a juxtaposition. Nowadays, everything in the background would be an Easter egg or something to kind of harken back to a previous movie installment or feature. Back then, everything in the background of 101 Dalmatians is what were they referencing? 1930s and 40s stuff? Roger went in 101 Dalmatians in his music room, had nothing but clocks, stuff all over the place, books, music, sheet music, everything all strewn about. It was no reference to anything in the previous. They weren't self-aware in that way, and it kept things interesting. How the camera moves in Pinocchio and the art direction in that way is inspiring. It's nothing short of genuinely inspiring for an artist like myself to look at and become inspired by. I mean, look at some of this artwork. I mean, look at this. Just reinvigorates my love for Disney in those early 50s, 60s, even the 40s and 30s get me going in that way. When I see artwork from people like Ken Anderson, I just happened to stumble upon it the other day on, I think, Instagram. I saw a piece and I was like, that's what I love about Walt Disney and the 9 old men in their animation company. I love that stuff. Bring back some of that stuff. Bring back two-dimensional illustration. Bring back 2D animation. Look at films on Netflix like Klaus and the Cuphead show. Completely inspiring to someone like myself into two-dimensional art. I mean, yes, there is something to be said. There is something to absolutely be said about the current day CGI, computer-generated animation. Harkening back to things like Toy Story. Incredible stuff. But there is nothing that gets those juices in me flowing, those creative, I draw every single day. And when I see a movie like Klaus on Netflix or the Cuphead show or any of the 50s and 60s and 30s and 40s Walt Disney animation, it gets my creative juices completely flowing. And I'm sure every one of you who's inspired by any of the 9 old men and are also into artwork feel the exact same way as me. And isn't that a great feeling to be able to look back at the company that is and really admire? They had a wealth of information to learn from. And none of this stuff sits in boxes. It's all in vaults for everyone in the company or us to look at. Visit the Disney ARL, the Walt Disney ARL, Animation Research Library. Look at that stuff. If you're ever feeling like you need some inspiration and you're a Disney fan and you find inspiration from that kind of artwork, you will find that and you will be rejuvenated in your want to draw something and create something new. Trust me. And that, my friends, was the covering of Ken Anderson and the Walt Disney Company and all the things that he brought to it. Architecture, character design, his sketchiness to those characters, and how they were brought to things like Robin Hood, another film I love from the 70s. Fantastic Disney movie. All Ken Anderson inspired. The backgrounds, the architecture in those movies. All Ken Anderson. Let me know if you like things like this, where we cover artists in the Walt Disney Company from yesteryear and current day. I'd love to do one on something like John Lasseter. He is a constant inspiration to me. He's an example of a current day artist and illustrator and innovative mind of the current day that I'd love to cover as well. What do you think about that? I want to give you a chance to get 15% off at Magic Candle Company with the code MANZA15 at magiccandlecompany.com. I love all of their fragrances. The Grand Floridian scent, they nail that place. When you walk into the lobby, there's this distinct smell that we absolutely love. My wife, Stephanie, we love the Grand Floridian scent. We love all of their scents. So that was a little quick ad for Magic Candle Company. Get yourself 15% off Manza15. It helps keep the channel alive as well. Check out Manza Illustrations as well. And with that all out of the way, I want to thank you guys for watching to the end of the episode. You could find me lounging to a melody. Thank you, folks, and take care. Bye-bye. episode. If you do feel so inclined as to follow me on social media, you may gladly do so at Manza Media Art and Manza Media on every other platform. If you like prints, I've got an Etsy shop where you can see some of my original artwork and fan artwork. I'll catch you folks on the next episode of Manza Media.